mention the Macho Man thing because I was going to ask you if you brought that up to him. But he basically reversed the jackknife for the pin. You said 7 out of 10. I actually did 8 out of 10 on that one.
Okay.
So I noticed that we're kind of grading it similar here. The next segment was Teddy Long with Masahiro Chono, the NWA president, and the New Japan president. But talking about selecting a referee for the match with Rick Rude. Mm-hmm. And at that point, they said that they selected Kensuke Sasaki.
The next match after that was Nikita Koloff versus Vader.
Right. They actually did a couple segments in between. There's Tony Schiavone with Bill Watts, talking about Sonny Steve Austin and Rick Rude, which then pushed into the Vader versus Koloff.
Oh, okay.
US title. Yeah. And in this, if Vader loses, Rude loses the title. Yeah. So it's a no disqualification match. What did you think about this match?
Honestly, it was two big guys. Obviously Vader being the bigger guy, obviously, and two big guys putting the show on best they could. It was good storytelling throughout it all, and it was something that kept me kind of in the match a little longer than I kind of expected, honestly. But I also realized that Vader, obviously, God rest his soul now, but even back in earlier prime, even later on a little bit, he had a good athleticism in the first shot. So I think that's what carried the match, and they were allowed to go. But yeah, I got a 5.5. That was good. No complaints, really, not much. I mean, it was just two big guys going at it, and I was expecting Vader to go away with that win. Couldn't remember back then, but yeah, it was cool. It was something that kept my eyes on.
So, in this match, the only person I knew was Vader. Never seen a match with Nikita Koloff.
Really?
Well, yeah. Well, again, I didn't start watching until much later. And I hate to say it like this, but I knew Vader from Boy Meets World.
No, nothing wrong with that. This is funny,
Yeah, so I noticed it, and I've seen a couple matches here and there because I watched now this was significantly later, but I watched the match between Shawn Michaels and Vader, and I think one other one that I can think of. So this one was just a straight up slugfest. That's the main thing I took away from it. They were just beating the hell out of each other to where Vader just wins by a powerbomb. And kind of like you, again, I rated it 6 out of 10. So our ratings are not far from each other at all.
No, they're not. I was actually going I was in the between the 5 and 6, but 5 was a little lower than it should have been. So.
Yeah, and I was kind of going back and forth, but at the same time, I'm like, these are just big dudes. What are they going to do? They're just going to beat the hell out of each other. To kind of toss it to nowadays, this would be kind of like what you would get between like a Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns style match.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Next was a backstage segment with Teddy Long talking with Austin and Dr. Death. Then you have Missy Hyatt with Dusty Rhodes and Barry Windham, basically setting up this match where it's Austin and Dr. Death versus Rhodes and Windham. One of the things I noted from this, as they're doing the ring announcing for this match, is I'm going to pick on him, but the ring announcer, his voice was cracking, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be embarrassing to have on a major pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So, what'd you take away from this one?
That was the
Austin and Dr. Death versus Windham.
Oh. I thought it was a good match, and there was a few notes I had down. They had a comment that Ventura had, and JR was saying. They're talking about his nickname being Pee-wee Anderson. He didn't really like that, on the stage at least. But Ventura repeats that with, okay, JR says he don't like Pee-wee, I guess, and Ventura repeats that with, okay, why not? And I'm laughing my ass off when he's saying it. The way Ventura delivered that. Okay, why I gotta bite? Why not? And there was no comment back, but I thought it was hilarious the way Ventura delivered that.
I picked up on that too because there didn't have much back and forth. Although I did notice every time that they would go back and forth, Jim Ross would call him Jess instead of Jesse or whatever.
Yeah,
but Jim Ross's tone on that was just like, all right, why not? Just to check you up.
That's hilarious. It was a great match. It really was. The ending was confusing. The way they kind of did that. With the count, and then 2 minutes to go. That was a part that was like, okay, this is not the ending you would hope for, but it was as far as the way that it went about. But it was all right. They got past it and they ended it. It was a great match, and unfortunately, I don't know why, but somehow I did not type in my rating. But I'm gonna give that an 8. I'll just say that.
Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit different because you definitely rated it higher than I did. One of the things I noted is that, there's a tag that wasn't seen between Rose and Wyndham, which you can tell Dr. Death and Austin were taking full advantage of the ref not seeing it, basically working as heels in this one.
Yeah.
There was an instance where Dustin Rose was thrown over the top rope, but the ref didn't catch it. The ref takes a bump. And then, so what I think ended up happening is they wanted to have this as a time limit draw. They didn't want Rhodes and Wyndham to drop the titles just yet, but I don't think they wanted to make Austin and Dr. Death the tag team champions because of this. So it just felt like the match was too long. I'll be frank. Towards the end, kind of like we were talking about the time limit, it's like, okay, now you guys need to wrap this up, or this is going to be a time limit draw, and this is getting really, really boring at this point.
Well, they want 30 minutes of good action. It really did, and I understand the thought process of not, hey, we're going to go to a draw because we can't have them drop titles right now, and y'all don't want to take a loss. At least we can't have y'all take a loss for your upcoming guys and really have something to offer. So, no, I understand going to draw. Just that last part was like, okay, it wasn't exactly what you want, but it's all sometimes that those confusing moments sometimes can draw in more of a story and it can make people talk. So.
And I will. There's one thing I noticed because there's only one other company that uses time limit, and right now, and that's AEW. So one of the things I noticed between what happened here in '92 and AEW is in time limit draw here, it seems like they just slowed down and was stretching it out. To me, it was like 22 minutes of really good action, and then they're dragging their feet. One of the things I noticed that AEW does is when the time limit draw is wrapping up, now they're just like, oh, we got to finish this match and get a win. To where it kind of feels like more like a competition at that point, where if I'm in a 30-minute match and I hear there's 5 minutes left, it's like, all right, I gotta end this now so I can get this title, get this win. Whereas in this WCW match, it's just kind of like, okay, we have to take it to the draw. How are we gonna make this time kind of go?
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah.
So because of that, I actually rated mine as a 6. And it's literally, if it was based off the first half of the match, I would rate it high. It's last half that killed it for me.
Yeah, I understand that. Honestly, I can tell you right now, I didn't give it an 8, because I just really give it an 8 because I know it's a great match. I just forgot I don't know why I didn't type it off my notes, but I just gave it that.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I probably gave it honestly more closer to a 7. But I'm just giving it more, so that's it.
Yeah, no, I get you. Everyone, to each his own. Everyone has their own opinion, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the next thing that they have is a Tony Schiavone. It's not backstage; it's in the crowd, basically, with Paul Dangerously. Did you watch this segment?
Yeah, I
did. It was great. Now they're talking about Medusa, Vader, Harley Race, and Dangerously, aka Paul Heyman, just goes into this very misogynistic promo against Medusa,
And I thought that was the one where he got his ass beat by Medusa.
Yeah, and she beats him up, but he wants to say, like, oh, I'll beat her in a match with a hand tied back. I don't know if that ever happened, but if it did, I want to find it and watch that match.
Can't recall right now. I'm sure we can type, go on your notes there, computer, and see if it ever happened. But honestly, I would say Bravo, but I don't, with Watch Generation and era, I don't know. Honestly, I can't recall right now.
And this actually highlighted something that Paul Heyman is known for, where he will take a word and build a promo around that word. So, like in this instance, he built a promo around her being a woman. He goes, I understand why you can't do it because you're just a woman. I know why you can't hold it up because you're not strong enough because you're a woman. And it's kind of like he's done that with other promos.
Oh yeah,
he did that with the Brock Lesnar and Goldberg thing. But which is one of his greater promos from the more recent. He did the one where he tore down Vince McMahon over wrestling, where he's like, "You made wrestling a dirty word." And it just shows his strength here.
There's sorry to interrupt you, but there's another character. Maybe our listeners can put it to the comment whenever we get it. That's on availability. There's another character. I think it was a little bit more in the later 90s, I think, or maybe mid 90s. There's another character. I think it was in WWF. I think they had that persona to where they always said, they put women down on other bases. Right now, I just can't think of who it is. If someone else knows that out there.
Are you talking about Jeff Jarrett?
No, but actually, he had that strong point of that, but somebody else had it too. They were even more vocal about that. I just can't think of who did it. I don't know. It's not a big deal right now, but just trying to think of what character had it. It was going on for a little while. I just can't think of off the top of my head. Somebody else had that character where they were more vocal about, basically putting down women. I can't think of the top of my head who was that.
I can only think of Jeff Jarrett. But now this is going to drive me nuts. Either way, so then immediately after this, they had Sting do the spin the wheel, make the deal, and the wheel looks stupid. I'm just going to leave it at that. The wheel looks stupid. It had way too many things on it for no good reason. The only thing I liked about it is what the indicator was, what he landed on. I thought that looked nice. Everything else, the thing looked stupid. And it had fireworks going off and behind it and things like that, which, it's 90s wrestling, and I think that was the trend back then, but oh boy, did that not age well. But basically it lands on the coal miners glove match where they basically put a coal miner's glove on a pole, and at that point, either Sting or Jake the Snake could reach for it, use it to help him in the match.
Yeah.
One of the things I took from this is there's only one person that I know of that was known for putting everything on a pole in a match. Vince Russo.
I just heard about him today doing something, saying something out there. But I don't know what.
Hey, bro, we're gonna do this match, bro. We're gonna put this glove on the pole, bro. And if they get it, they'll be able to use it, bro. Great stuff.
I mean, like one of those questions. Are you sure you're gonna start WCW before you went to WWF? I mean, nothing wrong with having a pole, but it's just you gotta be. I didn't think that it was the quite right stipulation for it, but honestly, I thought they could have done more with that wheel throughout the night instead of just having it all for one match. Of course, stipulation could have been better for I mean, like, hey, why don't you have like three headliner matches with that wheel? So, but for one, like, and then there was one that I'm sure not a lot of people necessarily was like, oh, we're going to see a cage match or something, just something more than just the coal miner's glove, but still a good match for what it was. Right. So the next match, and I'm not downtrodden.